Gaijin finally figured out what they needed to do for event aircraft and overall just event vehicles. Now, for the past few events, they've kind of added haphazard aircraft and kind of just lame events in general. I mean, the A7K wasn't really unique, wasn't really cool. The C-25BM was interesting. A lot of other, events, but they finally figured out what they needed to do for events. Now, real quick, most event aircraft test something. Example, when we first saw air-to-ground missiles, that was tested on the FJ-4B VMF-232. I believe the first air-to-air missiles were kind of found on the, well, not the first ones, but like the real first aircraft was like good aircraft. I mean, was the F-11-1, so the F-11 Tiger Shark. And other event aircraft like the A7K, I believe they tested the targeting pod or something like that. They tested on the, what is it? Oh, the latest one, the C-25BM, they tested the R-73. And so with the F-14A IRAF, I think what they're testing is a few things. One, this was the first free aircraft that got access to Fox 3s. No other aircraft in the game ever had access to Fox 3s and was a, air quote, free aircraft. You could get the Tomcat for completely free. The other thing I think they're testing is the Hawk missile system. Now, the Hawk missile system is an AA system that the U.S. used until, I want to say, the early 2000s. It was fully replaced by the U.S. in the early 2000s in terms of Patriot. But the Hawk system's been around for a minute. It says like the Vietnam era, and even before then. The Hawk system is still in use by a lot of nations, and it is an AA system that should make its way into the game in the near future, because it is a very unique system, and the U.S. would definitely need it to counter things like Pantsers, and the U.S. is in desperate need of an AA. So I'm hoping that by fielding not one but two separate missile systems that are air quote Hawk meaning they're the same body as the Hawk missile, that is the Sigil semi-active radar homing missile, and the Yasser rocket, which is a giant unguided rocket that the Iranians fielded. Now, in talking about the actual Tomcat itself, it is just right for an event vehicle. Gaijin finally realized they had to add event vehicles that were super interesting for the player base. The Tomcat is one. They did realize they had to add something that wasn't too broken. They can't add something that's going to completely change the game forever. Now, in terms of the Tomcat, I've heard a lot of pros and cons from different people. Some people really like it because it is really just a better F-14A at the same BR. And other people complain because, well, they grinded for their Tomcat and now people get access to it for free. And I hear both arguments. I think in the future we're going to see very broken event vehicles. In fact, I think within the next year or next year, one of the event vehicles we're going to see is the F-117, simply because I don't think Gaijin wants to make it to where just one nation has access to stealth aircraft or just one player base. They'll make it an event vehicle, most likely, the first stealth aircraft, simply so that anyone can get it if they want it. You don't have to be a US main to get the first stealth aircraft. That would just make sense to me personally. Overall, I think people, I personally waited to make this video because the Iranian spam was just way too much for me personally. It was like literally just 12v12 or 16v16 of F-14A IRAFs spamming Yassers. Also, for this entire video I kind of made here, it was just mostly clips of me playing, kind of spading it. I did not bring any Fox 3s in any of the clips simply because I wanted to, not sit back and spam Fox 3s. I will be making a video later in the future comparing the F-14A and the AIRAF, so make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications to be notified when that video is posted. But overall, I've covered most things here with the F-14A IRAF. It's an event vehicle from just a few weeks ago. It was a very unique event vehicle because it was the first aircraft that was air quote free that got access to Fox 3s. It is a, its Fox 3s are modified AIM-120s and modified AIM-120s, and then it has a new semi-active radar homing missile, which is the Sigil, which is a Hawk missile, AA missile that is just strapped to the Tomcat basically with some modifications to that. And overall, I think people need to either come to terms that this is what event vehicles need to be like. They need to be something that's interesting, but not something that's all utterly broken. But Gaijin should also dip their toes into event vehicles at, prop level. Now, one of those could be very interesting. That would be the F6F5N, but with AIM 7s. And that's a whole nother video for the future. But yeah, because they've done some event vehicles that are props. It was like the Yak 9, and I had zero interest in that, and not a lot of people did. Anyways, make sure to let me know your guys' thoughts down below on the F-14A IRAF. If it's a, good event vehicle, a bad event vehicle, and what guys you should do in the future for event vehicles. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe, and I will catch you guys in the next video.